Most home buyers in Minnesota spend months looking for their next home. Then they spend about 20 minutes thinking about how that home is going to work for them in about 5 years. That gap is where the most expensive mistakes are made. The median home price in Minnesota is about $350,000. Homes are sitting on the market for longer than they have in years. And with that time, that means buyers have more options. But more options without a game plan is not an advantage. It just leaves more ways to make more mistakes. In this video, I'm going to break down how to find your forever home in Minnesota. We're going to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes that buyers make in terms of size, location, and layout, and why those mistakes turn a dream home into something that you're just trying to get rid of 3 years later. And these apply to any time that you're buying, whether it's your first home or you're making a move up to your forever home. Stick around to the end because I'm going to give you the one question you should ask yourself before you make an offer on any home. It only takes about 30 seconds and it tells you more than any checklist ever will. I had clients a few years ago. They were move-up buyers here in the Twin Cities. They did everything right on paper. They knew their budget. They got their pre-approval letter before they started looking. Everyone, please do that. They had a list of their must-haves and they found a home that checked almost every single box. Beautiful kitchen, great finishes, great school district, big backyard. I got their offer accepted and on closing day, they were happier than a blueberry. Then just 2 years later, I got a phone call. You guessed it, they wanted to move. Nothing was wrong with the house. In fact, they still loved it. It was great. But they bought the home for the life that they're living, not for the life that they were headed towards. The missus got a new job, lots more money, great, right? But that 20-minute commute from the previous job now is a 55-minute commute. The quiet neighborhood that they loved, well, now they had a baby and there was no other kids in the neighborhood. There was no sidewalks to walk on. There weren't any parks nearby. None of those things were on their checklist when they started looking a couple years ago. And everything was very predictable if they just would have been asking themselves the right questions when they were looking for their home. And that's what this video is all about. I'm Aaron Zenfennick with Titan Real Estate Group. I help home buyers across Minnesota not only find homes that fit their lifestyle right now, but fit where their life is actually headed. Here's how to define your forever home in Minnesota. We got 3 categories. We got location, location, location. No, I'm just kidding. So we got size, location is one of them, and then layout. First off, let's talk about size. Buying for today and not for tomorrow. Very common mistake. It cuts both ways. Overbuying. Yeah, buying a bigger home feels like a better investment, but the home that comes with more space is probably gonna cost more, so your mortgage is higher, your property taxes are higher, your utilities are even higher. People don't think about that one a lot. So getting the big home, it's gonna cost you a lot more money. On the other spectrum, you're buying too small of a home. Yeah, you're probably gonna be spending a little bit less money, but it's only a matter of time until you outgrow the place, whether it's your toys with your hobbies, kids, stuff like that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Like, do you wanna pay more now to save later, or do I save now and pay more later? And the right question to ask yourself is not how much space do you need right now, but how much space are you going to need in about 5 years? Are you going to have more kids? Do you have aging parents that you're gonna want to move in with you? I mean, want to is kind of a strong word, right? But aging parents that you have to have move in with you. Do you need a home office? Like a true home office, not just that extra bedroom that's across the hall, but somewhere with its own designated space where you can shut the door and get all the kids and the dogs out, right? What kind of hobbies do you enjoy? As you get older, are you gonna enjoy more hobbies? You know, in Minnesota, everyone's hunting, fishing, boating, all that kind of good stuff. You know, that all has a lot of things to go with it. And with those things, you need space. And are you going to be hosting holidays in the future? You know, a lot of us early on in our early 20s and stuff, we're still going to other people's houses during the holidays. As we get to 30 years old and whatnot, everyone's coming to your house now. Again, maybe whether you like it or not. Minnesota is also very cold. I don't know if you realize it, but 6 months of the year, you can't even go outside. So that means your inside space needs to be primo. That's something that a lot of out-of-state buyers do not realize and do not calculate into their decisions. The fix: project your life forward 5, 10, 15 years from now. Where are you going to be? And I love this exercise. We should all do this a little more often, right? Externalize your internalized. Will it into existence. We gotta will it into existence, baby. Let's go! Write it down, say it out loud, feel it inside of you. Now that you have your future life planned out, let's find a home that is big enough to fit that life. Mistake number 2, location. Falling in love with a neighborhood before you actually get to experience it. And location is something that you cannot change, right? You can't just pick up your house and move it somewhere else. I mean, unless you got some FU money, but if you have some FU money, you're probably not living somewhere you don't want to be anyways, right? So, I mean, you can always change a bathroom, you can change a kitchen, you can change the flooring, right? Anything like that, but you cannot change the location. Yet almost all buyers just spend the time evaluating what's on the inside of the house and not looking at what's on the outside. In Minnesota, location comes down to 3 things. Number 1, we have the commute. Buyers are usually looking on the weekends, right? Because you're at work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, right? So during rush hour, you're not looking for a home, you're in rush hour. You go look at the home on the weekends or after dinner and it's, 25 minutes, nice, awesome drive. Then work time comes around, boom, smacked in the face, an hour-long commute, bumper to bumper. The Twin Cities has a couple different choke points. Got 35W, 694, 494, 94, 169. If you know, you know, right? If you're moving to Minnesota from out of state, take the time to actually drive your route that you're going to be driving at the times you're going to be driving it, right? Or use Google or AI because it's 2026. So come on, people, let's do this. Once you have your commute dialed in, it's time to take a look at what's around the house. Your neighbors. Do they take care of their lawn? Are they nosy? Do they smell? Is that road that you're looking at 10 a.m. on Saturday super busy during the week, right? Make sure you take a look and see if there's any commercial properties nearby that maybe, get really noisy or drive a lot of traffic in there, something like that. If you fall in love with the inside and don't take into account those factors, you may fall in love with the home and try to rationalize those negative factors. Then when it comes time for you to sell your home, that next buyer may not be okay with the same things that you're okay with. Third, we have proximity to your daily life. Grocery stores, parks, doctors, shopping, restaurants. Minnesota is car dependent, especially in those 6 months we talked about earlier where you can barely even go outside. All right, here's the fix. Spend time in that neighborhood before you make an offer. Drive through it every now and then, different times during the days. Again, drive the commute to work. If you don't have Google, walk to the nearest coffee shop. Sit in the backyard and listen. Now, this is a little weird because there's people still living there, but bring some drinks, bring some foods, make some friends, have a good time, right? The home will show you its true inner self if you give it enough time. All right, moving on to our third mistake, layout. Choosing a layout that looks great on paper but may not be great to live with. It's the most underrated of the 3 and the one that most buyers regret. A floor plan can look great and functional, but as soon as you move in, it's just a major headache. Common layout mistakes in Minnesota, especially with the older houses. The bedrooms are too close together. For big families or multi-generational families, the bedroom layout matters, right? Having your primary bedroom right next to a teenager's room, I don't think either of you want to hear what's going on in each other's room, right? You know what I'm saying? No amount of nice finishes can fix these things. The kitchen is disconnected from the rest of the house. Open layouts exist for a reason. Whoever's cooking wants to be a part of the action, right? The mom wants to watch the kids as they play when she's getting dinner ready. These older homes in Minnesota just do not offer an open layout. Another mistake I see people make with this layout is everyone watches a little bit too much HGTV and everyone's like, oh, blow this wall out, blow this wall out, we can do that. Not every wall can be moved that easily. And I mean, yes, anything can be done, but it also comes with a price, right? One benefit of working with Titan Real Estate Group is we also renovate houses on the side, so we actually can make that closed off layout open. We can move that staircase from the middle of the house to the side of the house and make it all open, but that's a different story. Another layout issue here in Minnesota, storage. Something that a lot of people do not think about. Storage is key in a home, especially with Minnesota. Everyone's hunting, fishing, all the toys that you have, that all takes up space, right? And if you don't have the proper storage, your house is gonna feel crammed. The basement layout. People forget about the basement. It's not the kitchen, who cares, right? Well, basements are pretty big here in Minnesota. All the houses have them pretty much. Having low ceilings, boxy, not open spaces, just ugh, right? Poor natural light, all that stuff just makes it dang near unusable. Buyers also forget to look at unfinished basements. Now, depending on the unfinished basement, whether it's super old unfinished basement or a relatively newer home that has an unfinished basement, can make a huge difference. When you're setting up your search, you don't want to limit it by the square footage necessarily. You could have a basement that's unfinished that would add 1,000 square feet to your home. And a lot of people, if you're going to use it for a workout room or somewhere for the kid to play, practice hockey at, an unfinished basement is actually ideal for that because you can make a mess of it without really causing any damage, right? Or you can finish it later to make it what you want and give yourself some equity. A lot of people don't think about an unfinished basement being a benefit when really, especially in Minnesota, it's a big time plus if the basement is usable, meaning it has high enough ceilings, enough light, that kind of stuff, right? Also, do not be fooled by the staging. People buy on emotion, and if they got the home staged, that stager is an expert at pulling at your emotional strings. Treat this home like you're going to be living in it. Picture your furniture in there, not the little petite furniture that looks super cute and all those nice little flowers everywhere, right? Picture all your kids' toys everywhere, your dog, the bones. Go into the pantry, picture all your food that you have, all of your supplies, your air fryer. Where's your air fryer gonna go, right? We all love that. Your Ninja Creamy, gotta get the Ninja Creamy all day. Healthy ice cream, let's go. Where's that gonna go, right? That thing is too big to fit on the counter. You gotta put it into a pantry somewhere. You gotta find a hiding spot for it. So do not be tricked into buying on emotion from these stagers that are doing their job very well. Look past that, really think about your lifestyle and how you're going to be living in the home. All right, here's the question I promised you. Can you picture yourself having a bad day here? Can you see yourself living in this home every single day? Can you wake up, make breakfast, feed the kids, get out the door? Not just the best days, not just the holidays, the birthdays, every day, all the stuff you love, right? But the worst days. Having a fight with the kids, that kind of stuff. Picture your worst day in that home. Are you still happy? It's a snow day. All the kids stay home. You can't go to work because you gotta stay home and watch them. You're all cramped in the same space. Are you okay with it? Does the home still work? Ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it? If it's not an 8 or a 9, why isn't it an 8 or a 9? If it's something to do with, oh, the light fixtures aren't cool, or oh, the paint sucks, you can change those. If we change those, would it be an 8 or a 9, right? All right, we want it to be an 8 or a 9 because we don't have money, so we're not getting a 10, right? But yeah, ask yourself, 1 through 10, what is it? If it's not an 8 or a 9, why? If it's cosmetic or something that we can change, pull the trigger. Let's go. If it's something that you can't change, such as location, layout in some instances, if you're not working with Titan Real Estate Group, right? Those kind of things. And if you look at yourself and you can picture on the worst days you being there and you're still in love with it, let's go. Write up the offer. Come on. Because that's the day you are actually buying. The good days are good anywhere you're at, right? But the bad days can be really bad if you're not in the right place. A home that can survive a Tuesday on a snow day with all the kids there screaming and yelling, if it can survive that day, it can survive any day. A home that only works when everything is peachy, that's not your forever home. That's a home that you're eventually going to want to leave. Stand in the middle of the room and ask yourself that question. And go with your gut. If you have to stand there and think about it for more than a second, it's not the home for you. If you know, you know. If you don't know, now you know. All right, guys, now I want to hear from you. Have any of you bought a home before thinking it was your forever home and then found out it's not and now you're looking to make a move? Let me hear the story down there. Or have you not bought that home yet and you're thinking about that process? I also want to hear your story. Let me know what your biggest fears are, your apprehensions, what other questions you might have. I check every single one of these, so please drop it in the comments below and we'll see you there.